It's Friday, August 30th, 2024. Happy Labor Day weekend. Welcome to episode 118 of the Alameda Postcast, an audio service of the Alameda Post. I'm your host, Scott Peeler. In this edition of the Postcast, a reported theft turns into a drug bust. Alameda Unified reports on the year's enrollment. Alameda Brewing reintroduces themselves. An update on the Bay Trail. Electric vehicles on display and on the street. Lots going on this Labor Day weekend. A hidden gem behind the meat counter. A farewell to a little piece of Alameda that made me smile. And a clarification of a story from last week. These stories and more on this episode of the Alameda Postcast. Our top story. Last week, Alameda police responded to a report of a theft in progress at a store in South Shore Center. When police arrived, they found not only stolen goods, but multiple baggies of narcotics. With the help of witnesses, the suspect was found attempting to leave the area while discarding items along the way. When the suspect was detained, they were found to be in possession of stolen property and multiple bags of fentanyl. Retracing the suspect's steps, officers located additional fentanyl. The suspect was arrested for possession of narcotics for sale, theft, and additional charges. Last month, APD officers responded to 4 narcotics violation reports in Alameda, down 63% from the same month last year. Year to date, we've seen a moderate uptick with 69 narcotics violation reports January through July, compared with 66 for the same period last year. As reported back in episode 102, APD offers free fentanyl test strips at their headquarters on Oak Street. Additionally, all officers carry the anti-overdose medication Narcan and are trained in its use. For additional details on the story, as well as tips on how you can spot a potential overdose, see alamedapost.com/news. With school well underway for the year, Alameda Unified School District used Tuesday's meeting to report on enrollment. Elementary school enrollment slightly exceeded projections, while middle and high school enrollment fell slightly short of projection. Overall, there were 26 more students enrolled in AUSD schools than was projected. A notable increase of 38 students at Otis Elementary was attributed to the addition of 2 new transitional kindergarten classes, while a sharp drop in Bay Farm school attendance was expected due to the phasing out of the middle school program. Overall, grades TK through 5 saw an increase of 62 students over projection for a total of 4,199. Middle school 6 through 8 was down 27 from projection, while 9 through 12 fell by 9. Overall, enrollment in all grades totaled 9,128, 26 more than projected. In terms of actual year-to-year numbers, that 9,128 represents a total increase of 266 students, with the majority of that increase coming in the elementary grades. Actual high school enrollment fell by 21. Earlier in the evening, the board unanimously approved a resolution to support California High School Education Weeks, which take place during the last 2 weeks of September and April. To boost civic participation, AUSD and the League of Women Voters have been collaborating on student engagement efforts such as organizing civics education and voter registration in high schools. The League will be holding high school registration and pre-registration events at both Encinal and Alameda High, reaching out to every junior and senior, and expects to reach 1,200 to 1,500 students. The outreach effort, designed to help reverse the long-standing trend of younger voters consistently recording the lowest turnout numbers of any age group. The board also unanimously approved a resolution to grant the City of Alameda a perpetual easement and right-of-way behind several classroom buildings at Encinal High for access to repair and maintain an underground storm drain that runs from Central Avenue to San Francisco Bay. For details of the meeting, including links and the complete enrollment numbers, see Ken Durr's article at alamedapost.com/news. Staying with schools for a bit, mark your calendars for Thursday, September 19th, as the Alameda Education Foundation presents their second annual Back to School Barbecue. There'll be food, drinks, music, a silent auction, and a raffle. The event will be held at the Rake at Admiral Maltings on West Tower Avenue, right next to Almanac. The Rake knows their way around barbecue, and the raffle prize is pretty cool. You can have $500 in Southwest Airlines tickets for an entry fee of $10. The silent auction will include numerous unique Alameda-themed items. The goal is to raise $50,000, and thanks to the event sponsors, 100% of the money raised will go toward that goal. For details and a link to purchase your tickets, head to alamedapost.com/features. And if you've never been to the Rake at Admiral Maltings, great place to kick back and enjoy some superb food and beverages. Admiral Maltings, of course, supplies the majority of NorCal brewers with the malt needed to make beer, and naturally one of their clients is Alameda Brewing. Right now you're thinking, isn't that Alameda Island Brewing, Scott? Not anymore. As I mentioned last episode, the past weekend was launch weekend for their rebrand to Alameda Brewing. When I sat down to talk with Vince Poix at the event, he told me that the brewery was originally supposed to be named Alameda Brewing, but back in 2015, a brewery in the Portland, Oregon neighborhood of Alameda was using the name. Well, that brewer is no more, and with the blessing of the folks who ran that facility, Alameda Island Brewing is now Alameda Brewing. They've changed the name, the logo, the labels, and added a new head brewer in Justin Green, who was most recently with Jupiter in Berkeley. We talked about their new focus and just what keeps Vince coming back day after day. Look for my full article next week at alamedapost.com/features. 350 down, 150 to go. That's the bottom line of the latest Bay Trail Gap Closure Implementation Plan issued by the Association of Bay Area Government and the Metropolitan Transportation Commission. Yes, eventually the goal is to complete all 500 miles of the Bay Trail. The last time an analysis was released was 2005. In 2012, there were 325 miles of trail. Since then, we've basically added a little over 2 miles a year. Head to alamedapost.com/news for a look at the latest report, including a cool interactive map that lets you zoom in on what is and isn't finished. Electric vehicles have been in the news a lot lately. From Hertz unloading thousands of EVs from their fleet to Ford announcing they were eliminating plans for a large electric SUV, you might think EVs were in trouble. Couldn't prove it by the folks who attended last weekend's Electrify Expo at Alameda Point. Bicycles, scooters, cars, trucks all caught the attention of the attendees, with some folks waiting 2.5 hours for the opportunity to test drive Tesla's polarizing Cybertruck. Our own Ken Durr and Adam Gillett were in attendance. Ken spoke to the attendees, and Adam provided an excellent video overview of the event. Take a look at alamedapost.com/features. Alameda Municipal Power has added a new EV to their fleet. Their light-duty vehicles have all been electric for a couple of years, but now they've added their first heavy-duty EV, a full-size bucket truck with a 55-foot aerial boom. 135-mile range, and the ability to operate that boom and bucket system for 7 hours on a single charge. Take a look at the latest addition to the fleet with photos and video at alamedapost.com/news. Checking in on Alameda's Brian Wu, a shaky start on Sunday, but a strong finish as Brian threw 7 innings of 4-hit ball to pick up his 6th win of the season as the Mariners topped the Giants 4-3 in Seattle. Final line, 7 innings, 2 runs, 1 earned, 7 strikeouts, and no walks. Record now 6-2 with 8 no decisions, a sparkling 2.05 ERA. Next up for Brian, Saturday in Anaheim against the Angels. Then plan on taking Thursday afternoon off as Brian returns to the East Bay for a matinee performance against the A's in Oakland. We've talked a lot about last weekend. What about this weekend? Well, Amanda Laird has picked the best of the Labor Day events in her weekly all-around Alameda column: fish, cars, food, and more. Find her recommendations at alamedapost.com/features. From time to time, I like to share my hidden gems with you, just some pleasant surprises to be had on the island. Most folks know about the Scalise family and their butcher shop in Encinal Market. They've provided the centerpiece of many a holiday meal in Alameda. My latest favorite from them? Their in-house made roast beef. Just something special about a simple item that's perfectly done. A small sad note, way back in episode 50, I introduced you to Alameda's first and only free little art gallery at Santa Clara and Lafayette. Similar to a free little library, folks would take and leave little art treasures. Back in April, Nafisa, the owner, put the gallery on pause. Now it is no more, and the home is for sale. If Nafisa is listening, thanks for brightening our days, and best of luck. Walking history tours resume next weekend with a focus on the west end of the Gold Coast. Details and tickets at alamedapost.com/tours. If you were listening last Friday, you heard a story about changes in real estate practices in the wake of a lawsuit against the National Association of Realtors. I incorrectly reported that you would be required to sign in for open house tours. As it turns out, that is not a regulation, but a suggestion from California Association of Realtors. There were some other inaccuracies in that story, which is why it was pulled from our website and edited from the postcast. We regret the error. As always, a quick check of 94501.info, your source for events in and around Alameda. Head to Gene Sweeney Friday from noon until 4 for the first annual Baywell Health BBQ, celebrating Black Breastfeeding Week and National Breastfeeding Month. The Night Alive continues at Altarena Playhouse. Find Gene Cahane's review at alamedapost.com/features. Saturday, Farmers Market from 9 to 1, Eric Schwartz at the Alameda Comedy Club. Check out all the other events at 94501.info. As you enjoy this long weekend, take a moment to remember what made it possible. We do a pretty good job of remembering the sacrifices of Memorial Day at the beginning of the summer, but as the season winds down, don't forget that Labor Day grew out of the sacrifices of those that came before us as well. Thank you for your support of local news for Alameda. Give a tax-deductible donation at alamedapost.com/memberships. Find us on all the usual social media channels. Don't forget to subscribe to us on Apple News. Find the Postcast wherever you get your podcast, or simply tell your smart device to play the Alameda Postcast podcast. I'm Scott Peeler, back with episode 119 next Friday on the Alameda Postcast.